We are gonna train, 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 train. We are gonna train, train. Don't they know I'm trying to shoot a video, Cedar? Don't they know? Hey, it's Annika here with Sniffdog. Are you super excited to train a new dog or puppy in your home and have no idea where to start? Does it all sort of feel a bit technical to you, or are you overwhelmed by the internet and all of the information regarding dog training? Don't worry, I'm here today to give you 3 tangible skills that are going to make sure that you're communicating with your dog clearly and able to train them in a matter of weeks. There's a lot of pressure nowadays to have a well-mannered or well-trained dog, and people have really high expectations of us. That's a lot of pressure when you don't know where to start with dog training. Believe it or not, the reason a lot of dogs don't listen to their owners is because dog training is actually not that easy or simple. We are literally communicating with a different species and we speak 2 different languages, and it's really hard to get them to understand what we want. So I'm here to give you these 3 skills that are going to make sure that your dog listens to you and understands what the hell you're asking of them. At Sniffdog, we're here to teach you how to speak dog. If you can have a better understanding of your dog, you can have a relationship built off trust and fun. We want to come on this wonderful journey of pet ownership with you to help empower the love and connection between you and your pup. Okay, so if dog training doesn't come naturally to you, remembering all of today's tips might not come that easily to you as well. So make sure that you download the training tip sheet. And stay to the end, we've got some bloopers. If you haven't put it together yet, I am here to train you these 3 skills today so that you can then in turn communicate clearly with your dog. What you're gonna need today is a cup of kibble or treats and a clicker if you choose to use one. Today's 3 training tips are: tip number 1, train your dog that the word yes or the sound of a clicker means they did something that you like, which is causing them a food reward. Tip number 2, train your dog how to follow a food lure. And tip number 3, learn how to capture your dog doing the right thing. One of my favorite things to explain to people, and that really gives people an aha moment when they're engaging with their dog, is that dogs learn through observation. They're always observing what we're doing and how we're moving. We communicate primarily through verbal communication, which is why we do nothing but talk at our dogs over and over and over, hoping one day they understand what the words we're saying actually mean. Tip number 1, train your dog that the word yes or the sound of a clicker means they did something that you like, which is causing them a food reward. One of the most fundamental things we do to communicate to our dog what we want is use a clicker or the word yes. In previous videos, I'm sure you've heard me speak about this, but I'll just reiterate it and give you some homework today to make sure your dog does understand that the clicker or the word yes is causing them food rewards. Most people are pretty attached to using the words good girl or good boy when their dog did something that they liked. The problem with that is that doesn't necessarily mean to your dog that they did something that's causing them a food reward, which would actually make their ears perk up a bit more and pique their interest. I would reserve the words good girl or good boy for when your dog's done something that you like, but you don't have treats on you, or you didn't quite think it was worth giving them a food reward over. However, using the word yes or a clicker, you can use one or the other or both interchangeably. It should be a promise to your dog that they have done something that is now causing them food reinforcement. Whether you use a clicker or the word yes does not matter to me, as long as you are consistent on what that word or sound means to your dog. Moving forward in the video, we're going to use the word yes, but you can replace that with a clicker anywhere that you would like. In all of the training that you do with your dog, when you're going to give your dog a treat or a food reward, you must use the word yes to tell them the moment they did the thing that you liked. Timing is everything here. Yes is a promise to your dog. If they hear the word, they are guaranteed food reinforcement. Don't cheat. A lot of people find that yes works to catch their dog's attention long term because their brain begins to think that yes equals food. If you don't have food, do not use the word yes. Watch me. Yes. Touch. Yes. Sit. Yes. Touch. Yes. Watch me. Yes. In order to make your dog understand that the word yes or a clicker causes them food rewards, and in fact means the moment they heard that sound, they did what we wanted them to do, you can do a game called Charging the Clicker. You only have to do this a couple of times and they'll understand click or yes equals food rewards. Now, when you play the Charging the Clicker or the word yes game, you want to make sure that the food doesn't fall at every 3 or 4 seconds. It has to be totally sporadic so that they really begin to understand the word yes or the clicker is causing the treat, not just that treats happen to be falling every 3 to 4 seconds. Yes. 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 You'll also notice that I say yes and then I reach for a treat and toss it onto the ground. Yes. In all of your training forever, moving forward, if you're going to use the word yes or a clicker, you must say it or click it and then reach for the treat and toss it or hand deliver it to your dog. You will never, ever, ever say yes and reach for the treat at the same time or say yes and deliver it to their mouth at the same time. It must be a definite yes and then the food is noticed. Let me remind you, timing is the most crucial part of getting the yes or the clicker training accurately. If you click or say yes at the wrong second, you've just told your dog that thing right there, I like it. Let's say if your dog jumped and then sat and you said yes when they jumped, you told them that jumping was what you wanted. Careful with your timing. You must say yes bang on the second they did what you asked or wanted them to do. Training tip number 2, teach your dog how to follow a food lure. We can pretty much train a dog anything using food lures. In fact, you don't ever have to touch them or manipulate their body to get them into any position that you want. A common error is that we're impatient and we say things with our mouths and then we manipulate their bodies with our hands. That's not a great way for a dog to learn. Luring, however, is a wonderful way of manipulating their body while getting them to follow what we call a magnet food lure. There's a treat stuck to their nose and you literally guide their head or their body in any which position that you want to get them to do what you want them to do. When they get into the position, you say yes or click and then feed. Now, I know that sounds really easy, but people super struggle with luring. For some reason, they think they need to hold it too far from their dog's face and their dog gets nippy or just sits back and gives up and thinks that you're teasing them. So it's very important that the lure actually be touching their nose the entire time that you're playing the game with them. Even getting little licks of it as they go so that they know they're on track and following this food magnet in your hand is exactly what you want them to be doing. So to master luring, I suggest you work on spin, twist, sit, and down, all using a magic food lure in your hand. Okay, the problem with luring and the things that most people are sensitive to with luring is that you forget to get rid of that food lure in training moving forward. Using a lure is only to teach initial skills to get their body to move into certain positions so we can tell them, hey man, that's what I like. But you need to get rid of that treat in that hand really quickly in training, or else they become dependent upon a treat being in your hand in order to listen to you, which is another no-no. I don't want your dog only listening when there is food in your hand. That's a massive mistake in treat-based training. The way that we get them through that and avoid that habit from happening is by making our hand look like there's a lure in it many times in a row through repetitions when there's not actually food in it. We still feed them after they do the desired behavior. It doesn't actually have food in the hand after they know how to do what we're asking them to do. Here's an example. Down, sit, yes, sit, yes. As they get better at the said skills, such as spin, twist, sit, and down, our hand looks like there's a lure in it, but there's not. We feed them after doing the behavior, and over time our hand signals become actual hand signals versus lured hand signals where it started with the magnet in our hands. Now, although getting rid of food lures in our hands is the ultimate training goal and something you should definitely take seriously pretty soon in your training with your puppy or your new dog, It's okay to use lures in emergency situations moving forward. That might be when you're trying to lure your dog onto a scale at the vet to get them weighed. Or it might be if your dog is really scared of something and you're trying to lure them past it or through the situation or away from conflict. So you can use it long term. It's a great skill to have long term, but we don't want to rely on it in our training. And just like that, we're at training tip number 3. Learn how to capture your dog doing the right thing. Capturing is a training concept that most people don't even know exists. And that is the problem with pet ownership. You have to capture your dog doing the right thing on a daily basis and reinforce them for doing that right thing. That is how your dog begins to understand what behaviors are in their best interest and what are not. Capturing means your dog offers a behavior without you asking, and they get food reinforcement for doing it. For example, if you come home from work and your dog is usually pretty jumpy or excitable, and you walk in the door and they happen to sit because you caught them in a calm mood. Capturing would be saying yes when they offer that desirable behavior, even though you didn't ask, and then you scrounge and quickly go grab a treat to give them a reward for making such a good choice without you asking. It's also super empowering for your dog to be part of capturing exercises with you. Imagine you stand in your kitchen cooking dinner, or you're sitting at the dinner table and they're not begging and instead they walk away and lie on their bed. Capturing would mean I didn't ask them to go to the bed, but they did it, which is insane, and they should be rewarded for that. So if Cedar left the table and went and laid on his bed behind me without me asking, I should be very willing to recognize that and reinforce it. So I'm gonna say yes when he puts himself on the bed, and then go reach for a treat and give it to him. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Hi! Hello there! Good boy, yes! Good boy! Very good! Good job! That was nice! General things to avoid with these 3 training skills would be never ever say the word yes without giving them a treat. We cannot ruin that promise that we've made with them. The other thing that I've said many times that I'll always remind you of is do not say yes or click at the wrong time, or else you're rewarding the wrong behavior. Only say yes if you're going to give them a treat. Otherwise, it should be good boy or good girl. Okay, so although today's tips were not solution driven, it is so important that you have the foundation of understanding how to communicate with your dog so that you're not frustrated and so that they understand what you want from them, because you are being clear in the way that you're training it and asking it of them. I promise you, once you communicate clearly with your dog, your relationship will be so much happier. They will be able to understand what the hell you want from them and respond accurately because you're teaching them it's in their best interest too. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found today's video helpful. If you're watching from YouTube, don't forget to press the notify button so you find out every single week when we give you a new video. Like, share, and comment. We can answer your questions if you have any extras in the comments below. If you're watching from Facebook, make sure that you like, share, follow us, and tell your friends about all the free information we are giving you. Okay, P.S. I actually put a lot of time every week into creating a training tip sheet for you that is downloadable. So please download the training tip sheet. It will keep you on track and make sure that you remember all of today's little tips. Enjoy the bloopers. If I played a drinking game where if he drinks, I drink, we would be really in trouble here. Come on. Don't put that in the blooper reel. That was really weird. I don't know why I just did that.